Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the current finale to this series until we write the next book, Book 3. We are going to read it starting now.
Probably.
Warning.
Hold on.
Warning! I like how we're making jokes relating to our time period. I'm a story set like 6 years. I'm the future among 4 lifelong friends who compete to competing the competition. March 26, 2021. Dominic, I like how we're making jokes relating to our time period. I'm a story set like 6 years. Gilmore.
Chapter 0. Orange dies. Orange fucking dies.
Chapter 1. I like how we're making jokes. The light flashes on. The cameras start rolling.
Not even what
Shut up about it.
Not even what it says.
I keep dropping. This Pepsi can keeps falling anyway, so let's start over.
You idiot.
The lights flash on. The cameras start rolling. He looks at the crew in front of him, preparing to speak the lines that would change the lives of billions across the globe. The green screen comes down. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something, John says. Have you ever lost yourself in the music, the moment, owned it, and never let it go? Have you ever not been able to decide whether you're coming or going? Have you ever stood up? Well, ladies and gentlemen, do I have the solution for you? My name is John, and I'm here to help you decide once and for all whether or not you are the real Slim Shady. Ba-ba-ba-da! Ba-ba-ba-da!
I'm gonna be Josh.
Alrighty.
What the heck is this?
Josh says, watching the news. It's my news broadcast. Fuck off. John says through the TV.
Man, fuck you. I'll see you at work.
Josh says, moving his arm around Jemily's neck and pulling her close. Well, that isn't very nice of you, Eminem, Jemily says. Who's Rice?
Well, if those two are flopped, I guess we might as well flop Roy and Orange.
Alright.
So you're Rice.
God, as funny as John is, he is so fucking annoying sometimes, Rice says, getting off his chair. Just then, Josh reaches through the TV and bitch slaps...
Not Josh. That's John.
Just then, John reaches through the TV and bitch slaps Rice across the face, sending him flying into the front yard.
Well, that's my cue.
Homie Domi says as he gets up, drives to work, and dies in a horrific car crash. By some miraculous work of God, he walks away unscathed. Returning from work, Homie Domi sits on his computer and begins to do things that aren't relevant to the plot. He plays Among Us. Seems like he had a pretty productive day. Whatever.
Seems like he had a pretty productive day.
Josh says seductively to Jemily, I'm going to kill you tonight. Jemily says in response, just as seductive. Immediately, they redacted. And there's my cue, Rice says as he walks to his bedroom. After Josh and Jemily redacted, Roy says that was the thing that happened.
That was the thing that happened.
Bro, I gotta stop doing that.
True. It really is.
Homie Domi shouts from upstairs. This is great banter, John shouts from the TV.
Aren't you off now?
Homie Domi asks, oh shit, you're right, John says before squeezing himself out of the TV and destroying it. Vital testing apparatus destroyed, says a robotic voice. A robot arm then comes out of the ceiling and replaces the TV to its original position. It returns and says through the intercom, television stash is empty.
Well, shit. Seems like we have to replace those again.
Josh says, grabbing the car keys. He begins to walk out the front door, but as he opens, he's seen Jash. Hey, y'all about to die, Jash says, and walks away. After roughly 5 seconds, Josh says...
Seems like that guy was wrong.
Immediately, the entire attic house begins to rumbeer as a giant portal opens up in the floor, sucking everyone in. This sounds like a Seinfeld moment, John says as he flies into the portal. Rice begins playing the Seinfeld theme as he flies down the portal after.
This was some nice musical accompaniment to keep my posse pleasant.
Homie Domi says, after the Homie Domi goes through the portal and it closes, leaving the attic house empty.
Chapter 2, relating to our time period. Back at the basement house, John punches Orange for no reason. For no particular reason. Dick, Orange says.
Sorry, I don't speak Morse code.
Oh, sorry, hold up. Colon dash dash capital D, Orange says.
Sorry, I don't speak Morse code.
John replies. Dominic begins laughing from the other side of the room as he makes breakfast. Shut up, up. Orange says to Dominic as he sits back down on the couch, now across from John.
Who said you could sit next to me?
Josh asks Orange. No one gives a fuck about your opinion anyway, Orange responds. Dominic and John both say,
True!
In unison. Josh shakes his head as Emily reassuringly smiles at him. The fuck is that image?
I know, it's the toothless and whatever his guy is meme.
Yeah. Josh smiles back and calmly relaxes into Emily's hold.
Look, they're having a moment.
Roy says from the dining room table. He then walks back upstairs, having said his one line for the chapter. Dominic gets up and starts cleaning the party supplies from Emily's birthday party last night. Anyone feel like joining in and helping me pick this up? Dominic asks.
No.
Sure. Thank you, Emily, Dominic says as he throws away the dirty paper plates. Josh, John, and Orange stand in the middle of the living room watching Dominic and Emily pick up the mess. You know, you guys could help us too, Dominic says.
Nah, that's okay.
Josh says. Just then, a portal appears on the ceiling above the three of them, and the attic falls on top of them, crushing them to death. Hey, what the fuck? Orange says, crawling out from underneath the pile of people.
Peekaboo, bitches.
John says, completely bewildered by the situation.
What in the fuck?
Bryce asks. So this is where that portal sent us. Inverted home, Homie Domi says. Emily screams.
Hey, now you have more people who can help you out, Dom. That's what that said.
Yeah. That is. John says, go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself! Who the hell are these bitches?
Jemily asks.
Okay, can everybody shut up?
Josh shouts when the room goes silent. That silence lasts for roughly half a picosecond before it gets louder than before. Now that the shock of whatever just happened is about to wear off, can we start by understanding why we were all teleported to the inverted verse? Josh asks.
Maybe it's the way you're dressed.
John says. Josh glares at John before turning to John. You know, he's a lot like you, he says.
I wonder why.
Okay, hold the fuck on, Dominic says. Who the fuck are you people? The attic, Homie Domi replies. Hey, that's like our side channel, Orange says. Rice points to Orange and says,
he's like my doppelganger. It's like a character from Scribblenauts.
Oh my god, real? Orange gives a confused look. What? Orange says. Oh, that is me. Okay, hold on. We're all similar, says Josh.
Do you have a side channel called The Basement?
Josh asks.
Yeah, why?
Well, you see, that's our main channel, John's. Oh, that was you. Shit. Let's try that again.
Well, you see.
That's our main channel, Dominic says, cutting off John.
Phil, you make me angry, Phil!
John says in response.
You could have just let me say it, Phil! Look at my mouth moving! The easy way for me to speak instead of taking the words out of my mouth!
John says.
John's getting upset!
Says John.
Chapter 11, John's getting upset at his spaghetti. I am upset, John says.
You want to read the Roy chapter?
Yes. Chapter Roy the movie, the book. Alfred Hitchcock. Roy eat burrito Lamau. Damn, he's really eating that, isn't he? Josh asks. Mind your own fucking business, Orange. Roy. Okay. Just so. Well then, that was interesting, homie. I'm reading the entire thing, because that is what you asked me to do.
Sure. It's fine.
Well then, that was interesting. Homie Dummy begins to say he witnesses John begin to float into the air and default dance. Damn, bro, we dancing. What the fuck is he doing? Josh asks. He's being John. Get used to it. I am the physical of a popcorn, John says. John, would you like some help getting down from there? Emily asks. Ah! John says before spontaneously come. Don't disturb him. He is performing the Ronald McDonald at 3 a.m. rural dance. Roy, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger. Hey, babe, let's get the fuck out of this. It's too fucking corrupt. Jemily says to Joe's pulling into the door. Sex, says Roy. Agreed, says the forbidden Roy. Jemily opens the door and closes it behind Josh. Okay, we need to find a way to either get home or replace these people. Jemily says, I got you, bro. Just buy GeForce Disney on Steam and perform the 69 Lamau Easter egg and then commit multiple account of vehicle man kill on Pakistan, Serbia. Then become the swag level 2,341,897 on Mind Blocks and Ordre to unlock the Super Easter egg in Swagtopia 2. The swagging, where you then preform the metal kill on Joe Moma in order to commit die and then activate the new update where you can remove someone from existence and replace them, then do it one time for each of us, says Roy. Wow, bro, you suck at the Mega Man 67, bro. You just gotta kill Killman with the kill gun. Now they updated it last week, said Roy. Okay, it seems like we have a solution to one of our problems if we chose to have that problem, Joe says. It does, but I think that it's smarter to try and return home and find the source of whoever sent us, Jemily responds. What if someone brought us into this world? Maybe it was one of the inverted. Sorry, bro, I can't go that far. I can take you to this Disney Clan churro stand, though, says Ori. Thank you, Roy, but that's not where we want to go right now, Joe says. Now get back inside. I want to cut. Jemily. Rush in, says Roy Orbison de la Sica Blayet. God damn it, Roy. Now, you let it get out of control, Joe says, pulling out his .44 revolver and shooting Roy Orbison de la Sica Blayet. Bro, what do you mean? I still have 100 suit armor, says Roy Orbison de la Sica Blayet, using the glue-on gun. Alright, well, let's take one of their cars and drive off to find somewhere else we can discuss, Jemily says, moving to Josh's car 4. Then Sephiroth, descending from the McDonald's, asks, yo, what the fuck happened? I was gone for... I go for one damn second to get some fucking McNuggies, and y'all fucking shit on the Royniverse. It was at this moment that all Roy gone, but he comes back in chapter 3, don't worry. Yo, I came back, Lamau says, let's go, Roy, let's go. Back inside, Josh, Dominic, Orange, and John are discussing their situation with Homie, Dummy, Rice, and John. Turn Roy into a convertible. Yo, my homie, when did you get legally renamed to Rice W, says Roy Koopa. I got arrested for tax evasion, had to change it, Lamau, says Rice. I have to admit, inverted me sounds nothing like me, while also being me, Orange says. First time, says the original Roy, that actually isn't the original Roy, and is instead a clone of Roy, created by Roy, to assassinate Roy, but ended up assassinating Archduke Franz Ferdinand instead, because Roy was based and Roy was cringe because he didn't like Roy, which was not a very Roy thing in the Roy community among the Roynivores, known for having multiple Roys within it that are very swag with the Roy drip. Well, yes, that's how it works, Orange. You see, because they're inverted completely. Okay, now that that's settled, let's move on. Jeroen says, can I swag? Says swag Roy. Nah, says cringe Roy. Groyden Froyman realizes the resonance cascade has occurred and flees because he needs more suit armor, which you can give to him by providing your social security number. And now, back to your regularly scheduled programming.
God. I'm dying. What the hell? I don't remember most of that.
Neither do I.
But yet it all is vividly in my memory. Oh my god, my head. Chapter 3. Money.
Money!
Alright, calm down. Jeez, Dominic says to John and John.
No, fuck off.
John says, causing a nearby soda can to evaporate. After John's event, the room quiets down. Okay, so we need to figure out what the fuck is happening and what to do about it. Homidomi says, standing on the coffee table to stand above everyone.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
That's suddenly hanging from the second floor balcony. Your friend, dumbass.
Really?
Homidomi says,
I never knew!
John says, okay, that's you.
No, I'm Bryce, remember?
Oh, that's right. That's lowercase Roy. Sorry. Okay, guys, seriously, stop fucking around. Roy says, his voice booming throughout the entire basement house. Who is that?
You, still.
Okay, listen up. Shit happened. We get it. There is no need for everyone to get their panties in a bunch because of it. Man the fuck up and let's figure out how to fix this.
What is this, June 4th, 2021?
Yes.
I mean me, Gungaga.
Okay, so first things first, how did you all get here? Dominic asks.
Through the hole in the ceiling?
John says, pointing next to him. So you lived in our ceiling? Orange asked. Who in the I guess that makes sense. No, you dumbass. We were sucked into a dimensional wormhole and got shot out at the exact same location we were previously positioned, although it doesn't seem to have done so completely accurately since we were sucked into the but the hole is in the ceiling here, Homidomi explains.
Jesus, do you...
John exclaims, clearly frustrated with a long line of text he had to read to get to this line. Well, basically, yeah, Josh says, sitting on the couch underneath Jemily. Okay, do any of you know why there happened to be a dimensional wormhole in the middle of your living room? Dominic asks.
Nope. No. What does he mean by no?
No.
I didn't even realize that's what the next line was.
Well, it's
Anyway.
your turn.
Feeble and incorrect! Silence, insolent wench!
Jemily shouts, shutting everyone up. Die, bitches, bastards, brats, pets, fades out for a radio in a car driving by. John snaps, and suddenly everybody is in the car on the road driving somewhere.
Chapter 4, the road trip episode.
Okay, so what the fuck, John?
Dominic asks, I'm just bored, what can I say? John replies, throwing a Molotov behind him.
Okay, question 2. Why the fuck did you try to fit 12 people in a 5-person car?
Dominic asks, don't worry about it, John says before swerving and totaling the car. Considering the location of my balls, I think I can worry about it, Josh says.
I'm sorry, since when were you this conversation?
Dominic asks,
And where do your balls happen to be, Josh?
Orange asks, wouldn't you like to know, weather boy? Josh says, John says,
John says,
where are your parents?
Dear. Like bitches, bastards, and pets?
Dominic asks, exactly! Rice replies,
Sorry. Sorry. Okay, John. Was it? Okay, John.
you can do it, I believe in you.
Okay, John, was it? Would you mind bringing us back to the house? There are still important
We're in Canada now, John says before drifting the car like in Mario Kart Wii 2008. Cringe, Roy replies. You're cringe, Josh yells at him. Josh then gets thrown out of the car at 9,259,197 miles per hour, killing him but not really. Well, I don't particularly mind being in this situation, Jemily says, Josh positioned on top of her. A sudden thud can be heard. That's how.
Oh, is it? Okay, fuck this. I'm gonna find my... Wait. That's not the line.
Yup.
No, it's not.
A sudden thud can be heard.
What was that?
Don't me ask. Jen, John replies. Didn't you know she moved here like 6 years ago?
Okay, fuck this. I'm gonna find my way back on my own.
As Homie Domi says, leaving the car and immediately flying away. Who is Jen?
Me now, because I said so.
Nice.
Well, I don't know what his problem is.
Jen says, now laying across the dashboard.
How the actual fuck?
Dominic says before hitting her with a cinder block.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Hey,
Jen asks.
pain.
Dominic replies.
I see now.
Jen replies in pain.
Hey, do you think we should go pick up Homie Domi? It's pretty fucking cold out.
No, we'll be fine.
As much as I enjoy the position I'm in, I would enjoy doing this not somewhere. Wait, shit. Somewhere not in a super cramped car.
Josh says.
Yeah, I would also like to go be the fuck. I would also like to be back home, please.
Emily says, you guys are so lame, John says. Can a guy take a road trip with his friends and also 6 complete strangers?
Well, technically, yeah.
Dominic says, sitting comfortably in the passenger seat. Well, what are we gonna do with her? Josh asks, mentioning in Jen's general direction. Well, what were we supposed... okay. Were we supposed to do something with her? Josh asks, motioning in Jen's general direction. Wait, no! Were we supposed to... Were we supposed to do something with her? John asked, turning his head around a full 180 degrees and looking at Josh.
Well, there is a large variety of options, but we should probably just leave her there.
Dominic says.
What if we brought her back with us?
Orange asks. Sure, John says, pulling the car into 6th gear and driving back to the house at 300 miles per hour.
Punch it, Chewie.
Dominic says as John pulls into the driveway.
Chapter 5. Let's try this again.
So, how did you manage to make it back again?
Josh asks Homie Domi. I asked John to teleport me after I noticed you all turned around. Homie Domi responds calmly.
Well, now, can we please go on a normal field trip back to finding out what we can do to bring us back?
Rice asks. I don't think there will be much... Wait, fuck. I don't think there will be much of anything that can do that unless we know who teleported us away in the first place, Josh asks.
Can't John, teleport?
Not in the same way that we need him to, Dominic says. No, that's also me. Yeah, he can just shift space, travel through time, teleport to various locations instantly, and fly, Orange says.
So, what you're saying is he can do time travel, but not location travel?
It's dimension travel, dumbass, and yes, that's exactly the case.
Oh. Can't we all drive?
Oh, yeah. The driver responds, proceeding to drive.
Oh. Wait, no, that's you.
Oh, you guys wanted to know who brought you here? Jen asks, stepping out of the kitchen.
We rented an RV.
John asks.
No, you dumbass, we're not even in a car.
John replies, well, yes, that would be quite helpful, Jen. Homie Domi asks. Oh, fuck, says. And that was me. It was me, Barry. I teleported you to a completely different dimension. Jen says, pulling out the dimensional teleporter she had stuffed behind her shirt.
It was me, Barry! I teleported you to a completely different dimension.
Well, fuck you, everyone responds. How the hell did you manage to keep that hidden, Dominic asks. By hiding it behind my back, Jen explains. Jen has a bag? Orange asks. Okay. That is me. Okay. Anyway, can you use that to bring us back? Josh asks, walking upstairs from the basement. From the basement with Jemily just behind him. I mean, I could, but it seems to have broken after the first use, and I haven't managed to fix it since, Jen says.
Wait. How did you manage to set a portal to our dimension from a house you weren't even in?
Rice asks. I think I can help fix it, Dominic says. Yeah, I can help as well, Homie Domi says. Alright, cool, let's get started then, Jen says, leading Dominic and Homie Domi to the dining room.
Dining room
to begin work on the dimensional teleporter.
Is anyone going to answer my question?
Well, while we are here, we should start to discover how we are opposites of each other. I think that would be quite fun, Josh says.
Or we could stimulate the economy.
Josh says, pulling out his wallet.
I fucking love the economy!
Jan shouts, getting a roar of cheers from everyone in the room as a response. No, we already went out, and we can't do it again, at least for another 4 books, Dominic replies.
Well, damn, never mind then.
Josh says, putting his wallet back in his pocket.
You know, we don't seem that different.
Josh says, looking at how everyone else is talking.
Like, sure, we all have our differences, specifically with me and Josh and Emily and Jemily, but we are all still pretty similar.
Holy shit, Josh is actually being smart about this? Orange asks. That's you.
What do you mean, actually? Josh is always smart about everything. He can even be considered the leader of our group.
Jemily says. The room falls into silence before the entire basement erupts, shouting the same thing.
How the crap can your Josh be smart? Get the hell out of here right now.
Instantly, a war breaks out between Josh, Jemily, Rice, Roy, John, and Josh. Emily, Orange, John, and Roy. Fuck. Josh, Jemily, Rice, Roy, John, and Josh, Emily, Orange, Roy, John. I.e., everyone but Dominic and Homie Domi and Jen. Wow, look at them, Jen says, looking at the war that's breaking out in the living room. Ignore that. We need to get this done as soon as possible. I have things I need to do, Homie Domi says without even looking away from the machine. That can be taken multiple ways. Agreed, but we should also go try to do something about that. They could end up a lot worse than ruining some furniture, Dominic says. And why should I care? Jen and Dominic says in sync. Ellipses, Dominic says. Anyway, let us continue. This pipe needs...
Let us commence forth.
Let us commence forth. This pipe needs to vent into this reactor, Omidomi says, ignoring Dominic's want to end the raging war behind them. I will fucking kill you, Josh says, pulling out his airsoft gun he had in his back pocket.
Oh, you wanna go? I catch these hands.
Man, fuck you. I'll see you at... Whoa, sorry. Man, catch these hands, Rice. Man, fuck you. I'll see you at work, Josh responds, shooting Rice in the face multiple times. Meanwhile, Jemily and Emily have gotten into a tussle on the floor. I say tussle, but it's really Jemily slamming Emily into the floor sometimes before someone kicks her.
Hey man, I don't want to have to do this.
I don't want to either, but it seems like this is what's happening.
Well, if we must.
As the two of them begin to chug two different beer bottles as Orange and Sean watch.
Chug, 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 chug.
Orange and Sean chant before Orange gets hit in the face with a pillow that Josh dodged. Hey, watch where you're throwing things. I'm watching a competition here. Orange shouts to John, who had thrown the pillow at Josh. John says as he begins to levitate somebody in a circle of pillows around him. One at a time, he throws them at Josh, who can't manage to touch a single one.
What the fuck is this bullshit? No one said you could use fucking magic.
Josh says, getting covered in pillows. And done. Homie Domi says, finishing the last adjustment to the dimensional teleporter. We did it, the three of us. Very nicely done all around, Dominic says. Yeah, whatever, Jen says, staring at the machine put back together.
I wish.
Man, same. Hey, all of you dumbasses over there, we finished the teleporter.
It's one, actually. It's one singular dumbass.
Oh, sorry. Hey, all of you dumbass over there. We finished the teleporter. We can leave now. Homie Domi shouts. Instantly, Josh, Jemily, John, Roy, and Rice line up in front of Homie Domi.
So, we can finally leave this hellhole.
Jemily says, coldly staring at Emily's body on the floor. The only person who actually got injured during the fight. Yes, we can, Homie Domi says. Fucking finally, I got tired of seeing all this inverted shit, Josh says.
So, can you send us back now?
Rice asks. No, fuck off, Homie Domi says, creating a portal beneath all of them, sending them into their dimension, which closes before any more harm can be done. Well, shit, they're gone, Dominic says.
We probably won't be seeing them ever again.
John says.
Emily!
Josh says, looking over and finally noticing Emily is still in the indent in the ground Jemily put her in.
Chapter 6. The fucks are
Fucks
given. It is I, Yu Narukami, on the Nintendo 3DS. Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. John says, pulling out his 3DS and inserting himself into the screen.
You dumbass, you're gonna break your 3DS that way. Make sure it's not gonna fall next time you do that, Dominic says, picking up the fallen 3DS.
Well, maybe if you shut the fuck up, I won't have to deal with your bullshit, John says from the 3DS, now in the image of Yu Narukami.
Bitch.
Dominic says, dropping. I just imagine, I don't remember what song it's in, but just the Eminem song which just goes, bah!
Bitch, please, you must have a mental disease.
Dominic says, dropping the 3DS back on the ground.
Anyway, she's doing okay.
Dominic asked Orange, who's standing against the wall next to the door.
Hard to say. No one has gone in or out in a while, so I'd assume she's doing better, but...
Orange responds, looking over to the door. Dominic walks over to Josh, who's sitting on a bench at the end of the hall, far from Emily's room.
You know, sitting this far away isn't going to make her feel any better, and it's just going to make us worry about you.
Dominic says, sitting next to Josh, yeah, I know, I just hated watching the expressions on the doctor's faces as they rushed in and out of the room, Josh says.
Well, just want to make sure you're okay.
Dominic says as he stands up and walks away. As Dominic gets back to Emily's room, Emily walks out of the room. Hey, you're finally awake.
John, reread that.
As Dominic gets back to Emily's room, Emily walks out of the doom. Hey, you're finally awake, John says, stepping out of the 3DS.
Yeah, they said I was fine and could go home.
Emily said, well then, I'm off, John says, stepping into the Switch.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Dominic says as Orange, Josh, and Emily follow him. There goes Philip Banks, the biggest ass that ever lived. What a douche. The doctor says, stepping out of the door. After everyone arrives at Basement House through their preferred means of transportation, Dominic and John go to their rooms while Orange goes to the backyard. Josh walks inside behind Emily, completely silent.
Hey, what's your problem?
Emily asks after they arrived inside. Josh doesn't say anything and walks to his bedroom.
Josh?
Emily asks, confused.
Who the fuck says this?
Die, bitches, bastard, brats, pets, says Eminem.
Hey, Jen, I have a question.
Emily asks, having walked over to Jen, who was at the dining table.
What ups?
Jen,
fuck, that's not my
Jen
line.
asks, putting down the dimensional teleporter.
You know why Josh is so upset?
Emily asks, sitting down. Jen pauses before answering, sitting down as well.
Not exactly, but it's probably because he blames himself for what happened to you.
Jen says,
but that doesn't make any sense. Oh, fuck. But he had nothing to do with what happened to me. That doesn't make any sense.
where are we? Okay, Emily states confused.
It's Josh. I don't know what else to say.
Jen says, shrugging before standing back up and continuing to work on the dimensional teleporter. It's 9:45 p.m., and I'm very tired.
Midnight for me. I went to bed at 4 o'clock last
Good
night.
for you! Anyway, Emily says dejectedly. She then stands up and accidentally bumps into the table, making Jen drop the dimensional teleporter.
Oh, shit.
Jen says as the dimensional teleporter hits the floor, pressing the power button.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Emily says quickly.
What are you doing? Get away!
Jen shouts, running from the dimensional teleporter.
Oh, right.
Emily says, following Jen, they both sit behind the kitchen counter and they watch the dimensional teleporter prime. They stay there for a few minutes before the tension in the air drops.
Oh, thank god it was only Prime.
Jen says, going to pick up the dimensional teleporter.
I can only imagine what would happen. Fuck. What would happen if it actually shot?
Jen says, grabbing the dimensional teleporter off. Wait a second. Jen says, grabbing the dimensional teleporter and showing it to Emily.
Look, it's fine. Here, let me power it off.
Jen says, hitting the dimensional selector button position next to the power button. This causes the dimensional teleporter to begin charging, and multiple interior mechanisms begin to spin rapidly. Within 3 seconds, the dimensional teleporter had located a dimension and fired a portal directly at Emily.
Ah!
Emily screams before she's sucked into the portal, which rapidly closes.
Well, shit.
Jen says, realizing what just happened.
Hey, Roy, could you come here a second?
Jen shouts upstairs. And ladies and gentlemen, it is from this point on that this just becomes Dominic's Doom fanfiction.
Shut the fuck up. It's not. Just because it's true does not mean you have to put it that way. I will state, if you came here just to laugh,
Go
just
away.
skip to chapter 10. There is no funnies until then. I'm just saying.
Except one time in chapter 9.
Except, yes, once.
Oh, that looked like Star Wars!
Doom 7, Earth on Hell. Emily flies through the portal flies through the portal the dimensional teleporter created. All she can see is many different colors of light flying around her at rapid pace. Wow, this looks incredible, Emily thinks before seeing an opening below her. The opening rapidly approaches, and below, all Emily can see is the a red landmass and a large base directly below her and approaching rapidly.
Warning, warning, unidentified object attacking the base.
A mechanical voice emits, alerting the entire base to an incoming threat. Emily continues to fall and realizes she is not going to survive the fall. Oh, no, this isn't how I die. Emily shouts before noticing a man in a green suit and gray helmet using a jetpack to fly up to her. The man grabs Emily and slows her descent towards the base. Thank you so much. You just saved my life, Emily says, holding on to the man tightly. The man silently flies back to where he took off from and lands, putting Emily down. Thank you again. I don't know what I would have done if you didn't help me, Emily says. The shock of the situation not having left her system yet. The man stays silent and removes his jetpack before returning to his table and continuing to eat his sandwich. So, Emily begins saying before the base alarm goes off and the mechanical woman says,
Warning, warning, a portal has been opened at the base. All personnel prepare for combat.
The man finishes his sandwich and is still facing away from Emily before standing up, putting on his helmet, and turning his head slightly towards Emily.
You know how to operate a chainsaw.
The man asks coldly. Oh, kinda? Emily responds, nervous and frightened.
Alright, come with me.
The man says, walking toward the door at the end of the balcony. Emily quickly follows behind, worried about what is going to happen to her.
Oh, and take this.
The man says, pulling out one of his 2 pistols and handing it to Emily. Oh, to her. Emily extends her hand and shakily grips the pistol in her hand. I don't know if I can do this, Emily says to the man.
Well, it's either this or this. Well, it's either this or you wait around and die. It's your choice.
He says, pulling out his own pistol and moving it through the door. Emily swallows hard and follows suit, pistol in hand. So, sir, where are we going? Emily asks as well as the man.
My name is Candyman, and we're going to find where this portal is and close it.
Candyman says, continuing his search throughout the base. Are you sure I can help with that? I don't even know how to use a gun, Emily says.
You point and pull the trigger.
Candyman says before abruptly stopping. What are you? Emily begins saying. Candyman says, listening for the sounds around. After a moment, he says, this way. Oh, shit.
This way.
That's your line. After a moment, he says, and turns left.
The 1 second I stopped paying attention.
After a moment, he says,
This way.
and turns left. Emily follows quickly after, gripping her pistol tightly. Oh, I never told you my name. I'm Emily, Emily says to Candyman.
Pleasure to meet you, Emily.
Candyman says before opening up a door, revealing 3 brown demon-like creatures. Candyman instantly starts firing at all of them while running around the room to avoid incoming fireballs.
Oh,
One of the demons...
that's hot.
He's on fire.
You're on fire.
One of the demons spots Emily and begins charging a fireball to throw at her. Man, my voice didn't like going that high. Emily screams before pointing her gun at the demon and firing as fast as she can. Before Emily realizes it, Candyman runs up to her, picks her up, throws her over his shoulder, and kills the remaining 2 demons quickly. Emily is removed from Candyman's shoulder as he reloads his pistol.
Are you okay?
Buster Wolf! No one gets that joke unless they've played Smash Bros. And played against or asked Harry Bogard, or whatever his name is. Anyways, Candyman asks, "Yes, I'm fine, thanks to you. Are you okay?" Emily asks, standing up and grabbing her pistol.
Don't worry about me. We need to get you a suit of armor.
Candyman says, walking up to the door on his right. Emily follows after him, keeping pace. So, thanks for saving me, Emily says, trying to break the silence.
Don't mention it.
Candyman says, making a sharp left turn. The silence continues for some time before Emily decides to talk again. Oh shit, that's me. Candyman, do you think you could teach me how to aim and shoot a gun? Emily asks. Candyman stays silent for a bit before stopping up before a door.
There are demons behind this wall. The same ones as before. I want you to look down this side here.
That Candyman says. Okay, I'm looking, Emily responds.
See where the prong on the front lines up with the two in the back.
Candyman asks. Yes, I see it, Emily says.
Do that and the bullet would go right where that middle prong is. Aim the prong up at the imp on the left and be sure to run after a few shots so you aren't hit by his fireball. My throat hurts so much.
I can only imagine. Candyman states. Alright, thank you, Candyman, Emily says, getting ready to fire. Candyman then opens the door and begins to run into the room and starts shooting at the 3 imps on the right. Emily runs and shoots another 1 imp on the left. Emily aims at the middle sight between the rear iron sights and starts firing at the imp. As Emily fires each bullet, the imp groans from pain, and after 6 shots, the imp lets out a final groan and falls to the floor. Oh, I did it! Emily shouts excitedly, turning around to see Candyman already having killed the other 3 imps. Did you see that? I actually killed it! Emily shouts in disbelief.
Don't get excited. That's one of many. I'm done trying to do a voice for this thing.
Fair enough. Candyman says, walking over to another door. Emily frowns slightly, but walks towards Candyman anyway.
This is the armory. You'll find armor, but we'll find you armor here.
Candyman says, opening the door.
I told you, it's the only thing that's advanced enough to fit around your body. The other suits would be too big or too heavy for you.
That's you. See, it's chapter 8. New chapter.
Candyman says, continuing his pace down the hallway they came from in order to progress through the base.
Why did you have to watch me put it on? And why does it have to be so skin tight?
Emily asked, trying to make the suit fit more comfortably around her body. While I had to assist you by putting it on, the HEV suit is far more advanced than anything else on Earth, he says on Mars, so putting it on required assistance from someone knowledgeable. And it is designed to allow for maximum movement while providing protection from attacks, because that is definitely what the HEV suit was designed for. Candyman says, as calm as he always is.
It still was uncomfortable for me.
Emily says, giving up on trying to fix the suit. Candyman and Emily continue walking down the hallway, eventually coming up upon multiple corpses of soldiers across the floor.
Oh my god, that's...
Emily says, at a loss for words, it's tragic and a waste of life from a company who cares more about progress than the planet they want to help. Candyman says, anger clearly rising in his voice. Yeah, sure.
Very clearly.
Come on, there's no time to waste. And make sure to always have your weapon ready, Candyman says, quickly walking past the corpses, then down the hall. Emily nods and readies her weapons. A shotgun given to her in the armory. Here, take this door. Candyman says, I want to do this line even though you're Emily.
That's fine.
Here, take this door. Candyman says, picking up the broken door and handing it back to Emily. Hey, what are you doing? I can't hold that! Emily shouts, reaching her arms out to try and stop the door. However, to Emily's surprise, she is holding the door just fine. I told you the suit amplifies your strength. Now toss the door behind you and let's keep going. Candyman says, moving through the doorway. Emily throws the door behind her in amazement and pauses to admire what she's now able to accomplish. You coming? Candyman shouts from the other room.
Oh, yeah, I'll be right there.
Emily says, running into the room with Candyman. With Emily's upgraded suit, she's able to keep up with Candyman in combat and slowly starts to perform as a unit rather than a handicap. That's the last one in this room, but I can tell there's some others in the next room. Candyman says, reloading his chain gun he picked up from one of the corpses in one of the halls they passed.
And it sounds different than anything, well, fuck. And it sounds different than what I'm used to. Must be another new creature.
Oh my gosh, I have to stop napping. Emily says, picking up an experimental plasma rifle from one of the broken shelves on the floor. Alright, you ready? Candyman asks.
Absolutely.
Emily says, flat finishing the priming on the plasma rifle. As Candyman opens the door, multiple zombie soldiers, both shotgunners and riflemen, and imps are seen, along with 2 whole pinkies in what appears to be a flying ball of meat with an eye. Well, shit, that's interesting, Candyman says, before pulling out his rocket launcher and firing at the ball of meat, now named the Cacodemon. Emily focuses on firing the rifle at the 2 pinkies before they can get close to them, completely murdering them in seconds. Emily then aims at the zombie soldiers and melts through all of them as Candyman fires his 3rd rocket at the Cacodemon, finally killing it. The imps are then killed by both Emily and Candyman using their shotguns, leaving the room demonless. You're getting much better at identifying targets and your accuracy has improved, Candyman says, moving through the room to collect any extra ammo and health kits.
Glad I can be of more help now.
Emily says, less cheerful than before. Imagine actually being in character. Cringe. Candyman notices the slow change of demeanor, but decides to ignore it. After scavenging the room, Emily and Candyman make their way to the next room. Alright, it's empty. Let's keep going, Candyman says as Emily follows. Entering the door on the left instead of the 2 on the right, they walk down a long hallway before they hear another new sound in front of them. Both Candyman and Emily begin moving to the end of the hallway and slowly before finally it leads to a cafeteria of sorts with only 1 demon, another flying ball of meat with an eye, but this time brown. Why the hell only 1? Okay, buddy. What the hell, only 1? Candyman whispers, trying to understand why there's only 1 demon in one of the largest rooms in the base.
One of the largest rooms of the base. Well, that doesn't matter if we kill it fast enough.
Emily says, readying her plasma rifle. Well, don't go out there yet. We don't know what's that thinking. Hey! Candyman says, getting interrupted by Emily, walking past him and firing at the flying demon. The demon hears the plasma rifle and takes a few shots before summoning a lost soul, a flying flaming skull that he throws at Emily. Quickly, Emily runs out, and Emily runs out of the way and begins firing at the lost soul before realizing the flying demon has summoned another. Candyman begins firing his rocket launcher at the flying demon, attracting its attention while Emily fights off the 2 lost souls it summoned. After a while, Candyman was able to kill the newly labeled Pain Elemental, whilst Emily was able to destroy the lost souls the Pain Elemental summoned. I told you to wait, Candyman says, patching some of the wounds he sustained from the lost soul's Pain Elemental sent. Oh my goodness, Dominic!
You realize you just read like 2 of my lines.
Well,
You didn't. I thought you did. Jesus Christ, John.
go! Go!
I'm sorry, I just got tired of waiting and I was really angry for some reason. That isn't like me. That isn't like me to be that way, and I don't understand why it was.
Emily says sadly while bandaging her arm. I noticed your demeanor changed from the nice cute girl to something more like a soldier a while ago, Candyman says, finishing healing and standing up.
The finishing.
The finishing?
Did. I've never been like this before, so I don't understand. It doesn't make it sense to me.
Emily says, trying to understand her emotions before Candyman puts his hand on her shoulder and crouches down. Look, things happen to people in battle. Don't blame yourself for this. I promise once this is all over, you can go home, and I can't promise you'll be the same or be able to forget anything you saw here, Candyman says before standing up. No, let's get going before it gets worse, Candyman says, walking to the door after momentarily stands and follows Candyman. Out the door, they continue walking through the base, killing other demons and encountering another new Emily, the Arachnotron.
Another new Emily? It's the arachnid
A
drop.
brain with mechanical legs that shoots mini plasma balls at a rapid-fire rate.
Hey, Candyman.
But Emily says as they walk out of the room they just cleared. The room was filled with 2 Erectatrons, a few cacodemons, and some imps, which was nothing Emily and Candyman couldn't handle with their arsenal and skill. Yes, Emily! Candyman asked, curious to the shift in tone Emily has had again.
I'm sorry I've been a burden before.
Emily says, making Candyman stop for a second before continuing his face. I am done. What do you mean? You weren't a burden at all, and you've been a lot of help, Candyman says, turning left down the hallway.
I just feel like I haven't been able to keep... Wait, what? I I just feel like I haven't been able to help you as much as a standard soldier would have.
Emily says, still walking in pace with Candyman. You do remember all those bodies and zombie soldiers we found in fight? Those are all people who were standard soldiers. You managed to make it farther than any of them, which means you have managed to be more help than any of them could have been, Candyman says, opening a door into an empty room. Oh, look out!
That Candyman. Thanks for that, Candyman. I feel better about it now.
Emily says, but the smile, Candyman continues walking, smiling under his helmet. Okay, it seems like we've managed to clear out most of the demons that have
This is
infested
not
the
your
base.
chapter. I'm not gonna force you to keep talking.
I know, but I had the first line!
So, what's next? Emily asks, looking up to the stationary Candyman.
Well, the radar device is only registering that there's about 10 demons left, and they're all in the courtyard to the northwest sector, which is about 5 doors to our right.
Candyman says, putting away the scanner he found and pulling out the BFG. Alright, let's go, Emily says, pulling out her plasma rifle she has used for a while. As they walk silently, Emily hears a slight vibration on her left.
Let's groove tonight.
Quickly aiming down the hallway, she notices not a demon, but a dead corpse and a handle on the floor in front of him. Cautiously, Emily approaches the handle and grabs it, putting away her plasma rifle in the process.
Hey, what are you doing?
Candyman asks, having turned around to find where Emily went. Emily ignores him and investigates the handle, not finding a blade slot. Emily decides to grab it with both not finding a blade slot, Emily decides to grab it with both hands to find a way to activate it. However, immediately after Emily uses both her hands, the handle is brought to life, and a long red blade extends seemingly from nothing. What the hell? Emily says, shocked at what she just did.
No, what is that?
Candyman asks, suddenly having his voice again, slowly approaching Emily. I have no idea. I think it's a sword, but it's far more advanced than anything I've seen.
So it activated as soon as you grabbed it. Maybe it's like a lightsaber and can only be used by specific people.
People in Star Wars.
I just imagine he's getting cut off by that. It can only be used by specific people. Ooh, Star Wars! Well, either way, we need to go. We've almost finished this godforsaken mission.
Candyman says. Agreed. Let's continue, Emily says, removing her hand. That's it. Turning off the blade and adding it to her belt. The duo continue walking and reach the final door.
This is it. We have no idea what's behind this door. Are you ready?
Are you ready? Candyman asks. Of course, let's finish this, Emily says, readying the sword she just grabbed.
I'm sorry for all this.
Candyman says, and then opens the door behind the door is a small room full of 9 specters, or barely visible pinkies. Emily quickly swings her sword and cuts a specter in half as Candyman charges the BFG. Quickly, Emily runs backwards as a large green ball of energy flies into the room and explodes, killing 8 other specters in the room. Well, that was easy.
Don't get cocky. There's still one more demon left, and supposedly it's in the field.
Candyman says, walking to the door that leads towards the exterior of the base. As the door opens, the field looks empty. Where the hell is it?
Watermelon! Where the hell is it?
Emily asks quietly.
No idea. Follow me.
What's your name is called on fire? Dumbledore asks calmly.
Okay, so if it
Wait,
is out here,
Candyman
it's going to be
forward.
either on the left or the right of this room. So on 3, we run out. I'll take the left. You take the right. Can do, man.
And two man says, "All right, I'm ready." Emily, that's not even her voice. "All right, I'm ready." Emily says, pulling out the sword now named Crucible by Emily.
1, 2, 3. Da 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 da.
Oh my god. Candyman says, and they both run out of the door. Emily runs to the right to find an empty space in front of her. And hears Candyman shouting and charging BFG.
Dominic, when he's
Instantly runs
online
over-
on Ubisoft.
Shut the fuck up. That was an accident. Misclick, man. It was a misclick. I didn't mean to. She sees she's the demon that was hiding. Quickly named the Cyber Demon, stands at over 20 feet tall and has a rocket launcher for an arm. Holy shit, that thing is huge!
Why do you have to Amber
what she
Alert
said.
me when it is quiet?
What?
I got an Amber Alert.
Bruh. Holy shit, that thing is huge!
You know,
That's what she said.
we're talking about Cyber Demon, 20 feet tall, Doom. Where?
My fucking head, John. What is even fucking happening anymore? Emily says, pulling out the plasma rifle as Candyman's BFG fires. The ball of energy impacts the Cyber Demon, but it continues to fight.
What the? That's the first thing to survive a blast from a PFG.
Candyman says, running back and pulling out his rocket launcher. Emily runs backwards while shooting her plasma rifle at the Cyber Demon, taking its attention. And it begins to... Wait. Taking his attention and it begins to fire rockets at her. Yeah, that's a good sentence. Luckily, with the HEV suit, Emily is able to dodge the rockets, but the shrapnel and explosions still impact her, wounding her with each shot. Candyman begins firing rockets at the Cyber Demon, which is beginning to have chunks of flesh removed. Emily turns and runs away from the Cyber Demon as fast as she can in order to recover, as Candyman fires another rocket at it.
I'm gonna try using another BFG shot!
Candyman shouts to Emily, who agrees. Somehow. Candyman pulls out the BFG and begins to charge it before having to run away from a rocket the Cyber Demon fired. Emily notices that Candyman can't fire the BFG and begins to fire the plasma rifle at it, hoping to gain its attention again. This plan works, and Cyber Demon turns to Emily and fires a rocket, which gives Candyman just enough time to fire another BFG shot. The ball flies and impacts the Cyber Demon, which screams out in pain. As the ball explodes, the Cyber Demon's body begins to melting, killing the final demon in the Mars base. As the Cyber Demon's body completely dissolves, another explosion occurs, and Candyman notices that Emily was knocked to the ground from the last rocket the Cyber Demon fired at her.
Emily!
Oh my fucking god, John.
Because, you know, he got
that.
hurt. Kinda.
Dude, you said that, and all I heard was... Well, I can't say it without almost fucking laughing. It was just...
Yes.
Candyman shouts as he runs towards her as fast as he can, sliding into her unconscious body. Candyman begins the HEV suit's healing function and begins to remove the shrapnel from Emily's body.
Critical
After-
damage sustained. Morphine administered.
Literally that. The HEV suit finishes its function, both removing the objects from Emily's wounds and applying a chemical designed to seal them. Emily then opens her eyes to see Candyman leaning over her. "Hey, did something happen?" Emily asks. Candyman just smiles as he looks at Emily. Quickly, Emily realizes that she can see Candyman's mouth, which means his helmet is off for the first time since they met. Emily sits up and rubs her eyes and sees Josh in front of her. "Josh?" Emily asks, confused.
Hey all, Josh here. Haven't been called that in a long time. Are you okay?
Jesus Christ, what the fuck have you become? Josh asks. But still with a look of concern in his face. "Yes, I'm just fine. Are you okay? Were you hurt at all?" Emily asks, immediately losing a lot of her gruff personality she gained during this journey.
I'm fine. You don't need to worry. I'm not the one who was knocked unconscious from a rocket. Oh boy.
Josh says. "So if you're Josh, am I still on Earth in this universe?" Emily asks, forgetting that this Josh doesn't know about the dimensional teleporter Jen made.
Well, considering you fell from a portal in the sky and are surprised that I am Josh, probably.
Oh yeah. Josh replies, oh man, what am I gonna do now? How am I gonna get home? Emily asks.
Well, I'm sure everyone else has been working tirelessly to try and find a way to bring you back.
Josh says, standing up. Yeah, I guess I just have to wait for them to finish, Emily says. The two of them sit in silence for a moment, just looking at each other. Oh yeah, do you want me to take this suit off? We could go back to the armory pretty fast from here, Emily
No,
says.
it's fine. Keep it. It looks good on you anyway.
It looks good on you anyway, Josh says with a smirk. Emily
Wah,
laughs
wah,
and
wah,
smiles.
wah.
Thank you, Josh, for all this, Emily says, standing up.
I'm just glad we managed to get rid of them all and that you're safe.
Josh says, also standing. Emily moves and gives Josh a hug. You know, you saved my life twice, but I was never able to save yours once, Emily says.
You don't know that. I don't think I could have killed all... I don't know why I'm British now. I don't think I could have killed all those demons on my own, and if I did, it would have been a nightmare.
It wouldn't have been. You know, real quick, for those who are listening, Nightmare is like a Doom difficulty, which means it's like a Doom reference. You know, I made a Doom reference in a Doom fanfic. Unbelievable. Josh says. As Josh finishes a statement, a portal opens up.
A
behind him.
portal! My
Josh
internet
recognizes
dies.
the portal and realizes they finally found a way to bring it back. Oh, nice. Let's try that again then. Josh says. As Josh finishes a statement, a portal opens up behind Emily. Josh recognizes the portal and realizes they found a way to bring her back.
Seems like they found you.
Josh says, pointing to the portal behind Emily. Yes, they did. Thank you again, Josh. Please be safe. Emily says, giving Josh a hug and turning around to walk into the portal. As Emily exits the portal, she finds Dominic, John, Orange, Roy, Jen, and Josh all standing in anticipation a few feet from the portal. I'm back, Emily says.
Chapter 10, The Return.
That's why they call her Slim Shady.
Dominic replies, So, how was work? John says, which is something John would say.
Oh, you know, the usual, and ended up having a lot of fun with Josh, although some moments were tough. I can think of harder things.
Emily says with a smirk.
What the hell happened to you?
Dominic asks, completely amazed at the fact that Emily made both a dick joke and a sexual innuendo. Just now, most of the basement realizes that Emily has a much more toned body.
Well, managing to kill an entire Mars base worth of invading demons can change a woman.
Emily says, remembering she still has the crucible and plasma rifle. Emily pulls out the plasma rifle and fires it out a window, melting the glass that it impacts and setting fire to the house across the street.
Oops.
Emily says, returning the gun to her back. Finally, someone I can commit arson with! John says.
You know, I've offered multiple times, asshole.
Orange says. And yet I still haven't seen you show up when I start, John says.
That's because you fucking teleport there randomly. What the fuck am I supposed to do?
Orange asks. Teleport with me, John says blankly before levitating and A-posing over to Orange.
Man, fuck you.
Orange says.
Anyway, how was everything while I was gone?
Emily asks.
This is you.
Oh, yeah.
All you.
Well, in the 3 days you were gone, everyone was pretty crazy about trying to get you back. Jen and Dominic haven't slept since you left, since they were trying to fix the machine or whatever. Josh has just been going insane in many ways. Orange and Roy were doing something that isn't relevant to the plot right now, probably. And I was playing the newly released Persona 7, John says, returning to the ground.
So how was the game so far?
Emily asks half-jokingly. Pretty good, all things considered. You know, there was this one part that I thought was really cool, but I've only gotten to the tutorial boss, John says.
Oh, cool. How many hours you have in it?
Emily asks. Well, I've been playing it for a lot, so around 69 hours, John says.
Nice.
Emily says with a smile.
So you're just gonna ignore everything else he said?
Dominic asks, still baffled at how Emily is acting.
Well, Persona 7 has been hyped up for years, and it's brand new. Of course I want to know about it.
Emily says.
Wow, just... fuck this. I'm going to sleep. kissing my fucking ass. I don't remember how the whistling goes. Hi, how you doing? I've come to make a withdrawal.
Dominic says all the way up the stairs to his bedroom. Hey, don't kill nobody this time. John shouts from
Fucking get in the bag.
downstairs.
I'll kill you.
Oh my god, don't kill me! Put the fucking money in
said
the
I'm
bag,
not gonna
bitch,
kill
and I'm
you.
not gonna fucking kill you. Thank you!
Windows tinted. Are you okay, Emily?
Jen asks, speaking up for the first time since Emily arrived.
I'm really okay. I ran into Josh, who called himself Candy.
Oh, look out!
I'm adding that. That is getting put in postscript. Damn it, that was supposed to be caps locked.
Look out!
Whoa, look out.
And together.
With him teaching me a lot, we were able to cleanse the entire base of demons before you guys finished the dimensional teleporter and brought me back. Wow, that's crazy. How did you manage to survive that?
Jen asks.
Most of it was the Josh of that world. He helped me with a lot. Now, you should go get some rest like Dominic is, because you need it.
Emily replies.
Yeah, I should. Wait, where should I sleep? I don't have a bed here.
Jen says.
Oh, yeah, you haven't moved in fully yet.
Emily says, the bathroom floor's clean right now.
I
Jen
swear,
says
if
to
that is
Jen,
not a joke, I will beat you to death.
You will?
Look, just use my bed, it's fine.
Emily says.
No, you need your bed. I'll go ask the only reasonable human being here. Hopefully he's still awake.
Jen says, moving upstairs and toward Dominic's room. Well, now that you're safe, I'm gonna go play more Persona 7, John says, phasing through the floor slowly, staring Emily in the eyes as he lowers.
I guess that's my cue to leave as well.
Orange says,
Not
walking
saying
out
anything else.
the front door to get groceries he was going to get before the dimensional teleporter was finished. Glad you're safe, Roy says randomly before walking upstairs. The only two people left in the living room are Emily and Josh. So, you're back.
Okay, I'm not having this right now.
Okay, $19 Fortnite card.
I'm
Emily
not having
says,
this.
walking up to Josh and giving him a kiss, pulling him into her. The kiss lasts for a long time before Emily lets go of Josh and smiles at him.
I knew I had to survive hell to see you again. Just never realized that when I did, you would still be so shy.
Emily says, smirking. You really did change in more ways than one, Josh says, feeling the muscles in Emily's arms.
Yeah, I did. You know, I had to get naked to put this suit on.
Emily says jokingly, whoa, now, where did that come from? Josh says, taking a step back. Emily begins laughing at Josh's reaction.
What, isn't it normal for men to want sex when their girlfriend's back from war?
Emily says after calming down a little. Not me, at least for now. Josh says, a bit confused and worried.
Jeez, I'm gonna make you take a joke one of these days. You don't have to act so mature all the time to impress me. I'm already impressed.
Emily says, kissing Josh again.
Now, I'm going to get changed, get some rest. Feel free to join me whenever you want.
Emily says, walking to her bedroom. Josh is left alone in the living room, silent and unmoving. What the hell is she going to do to me? Wah, wah, wah. I don't want to say this because my parents' bedroom is right next door.
Fair enough.
The credit sequence, but again.
Margaret, I'm going out. There's a credit sequence at the end of the book, and I'd very much enjoy reading it.
Authors, John, Dominic, Orange, kinda, Roy, co-conspirator, Jen, Emily.
Overshadowing my dreams.
Signs of love! Heartbeat, heartbreak.
Heartbreak. Rambonette, holy shit. Rambonette, Emily, but cool.
Emily, Jemily, Josh, John, Dominic, homie, Orange, Rice, Roy, Jen.
I am going to steal.
Great vegetables.
Persona Q, Shadow of the Labyrinth.
Chie Satanaka.
Dungeons, Dragons.
Nanako, Emily.
Uka, Emily.
Emily, not Emily.
Not Emily. Oh, wait. That's not how that works.
Dimensional Teleporter.
Doom 2016.
Baba Booba 3.
Dribble knots unlimited.
I'm gonna renovate your ass.
Sounds good to me.
Honesty, the best policy.
Public service announcement 2021. This is another public service announcement.
Go on.
Okay. I was hoping you would catch what I wanted.
No, I know exactly what I'm gonna do for this.
Oh, okay, fine. This is another public service announcement brought to you in part by Dom and John. Dom and John. Dom and John do not give a fuck what you think. If you don't like it, you can suck our fucking cocks. Little did you know, upon reading this fanfic, you have just kissed our asses. Dom and John are fed up with your shit and are going to kill you. Anything else?
Yeah, see you in book 4.